Understanding transform pivot points is essential for fast, precise modeling in Blender, but a lot of beginners and even intermediate users don't fully use all the options available. In this video, I'll break them all down and clearly show you when and why to use each one. So to explain the transform pivot point, I'm going to add a couple of things to my basic Blender scene just here. Come up to the top here, press Shift A to add. So that gives you the add menu. You can also find that here, of course, add mesh, and then I'll choose the monkey because it's nice and detailed. I'll press G then X and move that across to the side, and Shift A to add once again. And let's add in this time a cylinder. G then X and move that across to the other side. I'll make sure my light's not interfering. So G then X to move that across. And I've got three objects here. Now to find our transform pivot points, we go up to the menu in the middle at the top here, labeled transform pivot points. And you'll see the default is median point. Now we can also get to that menu by pressing the period key on your keyboard. So I'll escape out of that menu, period key, you've got the same menu just here, and median point, the default is at the top there, highlighted in blue, so it's nice and easy to remember. Okay, so let's take a look at what that does. So to demonstrate, I'll move the cylinder across slightly, so G then X and move that across, select my three objects just here, let's go to top view, that'll be easier to see, and I'll press R to rotate. And instantly you can see this dotted line where my 3D cursor is pointing to the median point, and it's rotating around the kind of average middle point of all these objects. I'll right click to cancel that. Let's change now to the bounding box center, which is extremely similar to the median point, but it is very slightly different, I guess. So bounding box center, R to rotate, you can see that it's in a very slightly different position. So that's an imaginary bounding box that's going outside our objects and choosing the middle of that point, as I understand it. But to be honest, these can be used relatively interchangeably, the bounding box center and the median point. I'm sure there's someone out there saying there's a really important use case for this, but I've never found it. So those two are kind of the default and different ways of averaging out the middle of your objects. And it's important to point out that if I press S to scale, it's scaling from that point. G to grab doesn't make a huge amount of difference in this case, but rotation and scale, it becomes very obvious. Let's look now at the active element. It's another one that I sometimes forget about, but the active element from the objects you've selected is highlighted yellow, as you can see there, and it's the one you choose last. So if I deselect all, Alt A to deselect all, and select them one at a time, so Shift select the cube now, that becomes the active object, and this is still selected, and then the monkey, if I shift click on that, becomes the new active object. So it's the one selected last. Now if I go up to the transform pivot points, change to active element and press R to rotate, you can see it's rotating around the object origin of my active element, which is the monkey. And if I change it by shift left clicking on a different object, that becomes the active object, and so on. So that's quite a useful one, but if you're anything like me, you rarely use it. Then we've got individual origins. This is fairly self-explanatory, but each object now is independent of each other. So if I press R to rotate now, they all rotate around. You can't really tell with the cylinder, but they are all rotating independently. S to scale, the same, so they're scaling independently of each other. So that's certainly a very useful one. Now the last one, and I've kept it to last for a reason, is a really useful one that beginners often neglect, is the 3D cursor. So I'll choose the 3D cursor and press R to rotate, and you can see it's rotating around my 3D cursor just there. We can move the 3D cursor with shift right click, and I can move the position obviously of this rotation. It's very useful when it comes to something like a light, for example. So this light just here, I'll change that to, let's say, a spotlight so you can see where it's pointing, and I'll point it by clicking the orange dot there at my cube, the very top of my cube just there. And I'll also shift right click to move my 3D cursor to that point as well, and make sure I've got my 3D cursor as the transform pivot point. Remember, you've got period key to quickly get across to that. I can now press R then Z and rotate that around and find the perfect angle for my light, or something like R then Y. I wanted to rotate it around the Y axis in this case and lower the angle. Now this can get slightly confusing if I, let's say, choose my cylinder and kind of forget that I've got my pivot point as the 3D cursor and press S to scale. You can see it's scaling from that point. So of course we have to press the period key, go back to our median point would be a good one, and S to scale, and that's all working as we expect. So do watch out for that if you have got the 3D cursor as your pivot point. The other very useful aspect of the 3D cursor, much like the lamp situation, is if I have a limb, let's quickly create one. So I'll take my cylinder, I'll scale it down, but press Shift Z to exclude the Z axis, and then Shift D to duplicate, bring that down in the Z. So I've got an arm just here, and I want to position it like so. So there's an elbow just there, and let's do a hand as well. So I'll scale that down, rotate it round. And can you see, because I'm rotating from the middle of the joint, it's a little bit hard to position. But if I use the 3D cursor as the pivot point, so period key across to the 3D cursor, and let's move to here, and then I can select the hand and rotate the hand as if it's joined at the wrist. I can then move it up to this point here, select both my forearm and hand just there, and move that around as if it was a forearm and connected. And let's say select all these three, and I can move it to the very top, and I've got my whole arm moving just there. And it's very easy for me to now attach this to a body. Let's say this cube is the body, move my 3D cursor to that point, let's just move it in a bit closer, and then rotate it as if it was shoulder joint just there. So like I say, it's often neglected by beginners, the 3D cursor, but it can be extremely useful to be able to change your pivot point nice and quickly just by shift right clicking. So those are the transform pivot points. Hopefully that clears a few things up and gives you a few more options and tips for your modeling. If you like this style of teaching, then do check out the playlists on this channel for more great content, and you'll also find links to my more detailed courses. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.